Welcome to the National Speakers Association of Southern California Member Spotlight. I'm Sam Osborne, Director of Marketing and Board Member for NSA SoCal. Glad to have you here listening to today's Member Spotlight. This month we're featuring the fantastic speaker, author, biopsychologist, and NSA SoCal member, Mary Poffenroth. She's a great friend of mine, and we caught up last week on Zoom for this interview, and we talked about her recent speaking win with TED and her new book, Brave New You, and how finding community in NSA SoCal has impacted her business. Now, let's get right into the interview. Mary, it is an absolute pleasure to be interviewing you for NSA SoCal's Member Spotlight of the Month.
Hello, thank you for having this time with me, Sam.
Let's start here. Your topic is all about fear, courage, and the neuroscience behind it, which I love. What initially drew you to the National Speakers Association of Southern California community?
Well, yeah, I think that on the other side of the book tour with my book, Brave New You, that came out last year, I really wanted to kind of reconnect with the larger community in Southern California and getting back into more formal speaking as opposed to just the lead up and the launch of the book. And of course, SoCal NSA chapter was going to be a perfect fit for that, and kind of just invigorating my local connections and people that truly get the unusual chaos that it means to be a professional speaker. I think is so valuable because you can have people in your world that support you and encourage you, but it's always just a little bit different when they are also people in your very specific and sometimes unusual field.
Your book is called Brave New You. Could you give us a quick summary of what the book is about and let people know how they can pick up a copy?
Yeah, so the book is Brave New You. So luckily you can get it at anywhere books are sold, including the audiobook, which I narrate in the studio, which was really fun to do. And it is bringing together both storytelling as well as my research in how we use science to help people navigate just the normal everyday fears that we all face, whether it is going on a big or bigger stage, or maybe a stage for the first time, or asking for a life a little bit bigger than the one you have today, or learning something new. These are all just normal ways that our brain is going to react to something unusual or something new or hard. And fear is going to absolutely just not only just decrease our experience of that, but it is going to negatively impact our ability to be innovative, creative, and come up with, strategic solutions. And so I help people use neurohacks, science-based kind of tips and tricks to quickly move through that sensation so they can get back to having great ideas and being, showing up greatly in all the ways that they can in their life.
You've mentioned that community is key. Now, beyond what initially attracted you, what is it about the live events and the people that keeps you coming back to NSA SoCal?
I think it's definitely the community. I think that there are many places you can get different types of resources in the world around ways to support both the business and the art form of speaking. But I believe that in my experience, coming to the live events where you and I met, which was my very first event, is such a game changer that you more quickly create that community. You feel like you're able to have this safe space, if you will, to bounce ideas off of, to practice things, just even if it's in a very informal way, let's say at the NSA SoCal happy hours, or in a more formal way in, let's say a mastermind. And that is really how you are going to increase your craft, not only by speaking on stages, but by being around people that are going to allow you to bounce ideas off of, that will be able to share resources and to be able to continue to connect you to the wider community, both as speakers as well as people that hire speakers.
You're bringing such great energy to the speaker world. Tell us about a big recent win you've had in your speaking career and your speaking business?
Yeah, well, just, about a week and a half ago, just got back from TED Next in Atlanta, Georgia. And so TED has two main offerings, the TED Vancouver and the TED Next, which is more targeted at young and mid professionals. And, great experience there with the session that I spoke at, as well as my book selling out in the TED bookstore, which was amazing. And the TED social team did a feature for me where I was teaching some of the neurohacks that I mentioned, doing a straight to camera in a conversational tone like we're doing now. And they boosted to all of their social platforms. And it's been getting really good traction, especially, let's say, on Instagram, where they have 8 million followers. I think we're up to about 7,000 likes and, about 250,000 views, which is way more than I could have gotten by my little lonesome self on my
Congratulations.
socials. So yeah, and it was a really, really positive experience. And also, being able to connect to other people that are speakers in these types of spaces is such a unique and supportive opportunity. And I believe that NSA SoCal allows for us to do that without flying to other parts of the world.
Mary, if someone is on the fence, maybe they're thinking about joining the chapter but haven't signed up yet, what would you tell them about the real, tangible possibilities of being an NSA SoCal member?
Well, I think for me, it, if you're a speaker, you're most likely kind of an outgoing person. It's
Yeah.
just, it's little, par for the course. And so for me, very quickly, I was able to make really deep connections with folks much quicker than I have in other communities or other. We've all been to a networking event or a happy hour or all of these things where we walk away asking ourselves why we just wasted 2 hours of our life that we can't get back. And I feel that that's never been the case in the NSA SoCal events, that every event that I've gone to, I've made really authentic connections to people that I then followed up and stayed in contact with those folks and have always felt really welcomed, and that the events are well facilitated for people to connect one another, not just by themselves, but having people in the room like yourself, like, Hillary or Lena or Nick, that they're, on the board members that are going to help make anyone that is maybe on the fence or thinking, oh, I hate going to these things because I never make any connections. It's all just transactional. I feel that NSA SoCal is definitely not transactional, that it is really about how can we help each other, and, when we rise together, we thrive together type of energy that you don't necessarily find in a lot of professional organizations that meet in person.
All right, Mary, this one is fun. If you could jump back in time and you had a time machine and you met yourself right at the beginning of your speaking journey, what's one piece of advice you would give your younger speaking self?
Oh, that's a really good one. Um, Gosh, I'm awful at these kind of questions because everything in my career has been keep trying and see what happens. That's not a really good strategy,
Yeah.
but I think that just keep showing up. I think that when I look back on being able to, get my agent and then getting a book deal with the Big Four, and even just down to getting on the TED stage, it's always been because I keep showing up in whatever way I can show up in that season of life. I know that the this decade has been has been really tough, not just for
Yeah.
us as individuals, but as the industry and in the world. And so it can be really easy to want to not show up anymore, and just maybe kind of, I see a lot of early speakers just give up because they hit a roadblock or they compare their speaking journey to other people's. And if it's something that brings you joy, if it's something that you want to do and how you want to show up in the world, just keep showing up, even when you fall down, just keep showing up.
Now, I'm curious about your process. Do you have a specific ritual, maybe a pump up song, or anything you do right before you go on stage?
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely have music that I can sing to. Uh, during the hair and makeup session of any pre-show. And I feel that, when we think about the vagus nerve, which is going to be the longest cranial nerve in the body, that helps to relax that anxiousness or dread, or just that fear arousal that we're getting. Singing can actually help to activate that vagus nerve to calm down that fear center in our brain, the amygdala, and to help us feel more confident right before we get on stage. And this is something that doesn't matter what type of things that you're singing, but if you are singing and resonating those vocal cords, you're also going to warm them up right before you get on stage, as well as help to cool down your amygdala's fear response.
And finally, Mary, for everyone listening, how can people get in contact with you if they want to follow your work, talk more about neurohacks, pick your brain, or get your great book?
Yeah, so actually, I love to verbal toss because my name can be difficult to spell. But if you just go to hellobravenewYou.com, you'll also be able to find some of these quick win neurohacks that we just talked about today that may be helpful before you step on your next big stage. If you're getting those butterflies, if you're getting that kind of nervous energy, they can be really instrumental in making you feel like you're showing up even more powerful than you may have been before. So just hellobravenewYou.com. That'll redirect to my website, marypoffenroth.com, and all of the magical stuff is there.
What a great interview with Mary. That was our NSA SoCal member spotlight with the magnificent Mary Poffenroth, biopsychologist, author, speaker, and NSA SoCal member. As Mary shared, the real magic of NSA SoCal is the supportive community where we all rise together. If you're looking for that kind of deep connection and the resources to grow your speaking craft, you can learn more about the NSA SoCal chapter by going to nsasocal.org. And if you'd like to follow Mary's work, you can find her work online at hellobravenewYou.com. Until next time, I'm Sam Osborne, Director of Marketing for NSA SoCal. Keep showing up, speakers, and kicking goals.